We are back for Do This, Not That podcast presented by Marigold. And I want to talk about one of the biggest lies in a person's career or business. And it's this belief that it takes 10,000 hours of practice or 10,000 hours of doing something to really reach a high level of expertise. And you need these 10,000 hours to get on that path to success. This is beyond garbage. This is actually harmful. And I'm going to go through some quick win tactics on doing stuff without even having 10 hours of expertise and how it could lead to even greater success. But before we get to that, how did we arrive at this nonsense that 10,000 hours is really important? How did this come to be? Well, Malcolm Gladwell, who I think is an incredible author, I've read a bunch of his books, super smart dude. He kind of reintroduced this idea of the 10,000 hour rule in his book Outliers back in 2008. And basically, he was arguing that it takes 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to achieve world-class expertise in any field. And he based this idea on research from this psychologist, Anders Ericsson, who studied this like violinists all around the world. And he found that, these violinists that spend 10,000 hours were able to become the greatest violinists on the planet. Well, that's great. Okay. But it made it sound like that you needed to put in 10,000 hours, okay, before you could do the thing to really be an expert, to really get ready to launch your career and your business. And that's what we all ran with, okay? It became the career advice we all got. It became the thing of, if you're growing a business, you need to put in these 10,000 hours. And in my opinion, it's kind of like the birthplace of imposter syndrome. And the best part about all this, and then we'll get into the tactics, is that in recent years, because that thing came out in 2008, Malcolm Gladwell himself, okay, has said people took the rule too literally. And there are many paths to success and expertise, and kind of like put that off to the side a little bit because it ain't the 10,000 hours thing. But why does this actually matter? Because you think, okay, that you don't know enough about something to try something. But the best way to know stuff is to just do the thing. Okay, I'm going to share some tactics on what you can do in trying stuff that can radically change your business, your marketing tactics, everything. And let me share with you for myself what I mean by this, just putting stuff in action. YouTube, okay? I have almost no experience as it relates to YouTube, like none. Am I going to, I very much want to have a huge YouTube presence. This is what I think is important for my business overall, but I don't know anything about it. Okay. Am I going to spend the next 5 years and 40 hours a week, because that equals 10,000 hours studying YouTube, looking at the YouTube videos, trying to come up with a plan? And then after that, I'm going to get it into motion? No, I'm not going to do that at all, because here's the deal. I have a mountain of content. I have hundreds of videos and I want to do something with them. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start testing a zillion different things. I'm going to start failing at the videos that I'm posting. They're going to be terrible. I'm going to get haters telling me that whatever I'm posting is absolute garbage. Okay. And then over time, over like a few weeks, maybe a few months, it might take me 6 months, I'm going to figure it out. And that's because I'm going to be doing it. I'm not going to be waiting to do the thing. And it's okay. Right. And a year from today, I'm saying it out loud so that way it has to happen. I'm going to have thousands and thousands of YouTube subscribers, because I won't stop until I do. And I have no expertise. I have no right to even say that. But that is how you get to that next point. Okay. So, what are some tactics that you could do right now that you're not an expert in? You have no business doing it. But if you keep at it, you can transform your career. You can transform your business. One of them that I love is doing a very specific poll. You could do this poll on LinkedIn. You could do it on Instagram. You could do it with an email send. And the poll is this. It is, what if we did this poll, right? Let's say that you are a SaaS company. You sell some sort of software. Okay. And you put out this poll, this what if we did this poll? Instead of launching a full-fledged product or campaign, you just ask your followers and your audience this what if question. All right. So, for example, you could write something like this. What if we replaced our user manual with a TikTok style video series? Okay. And here's the situation. You have never made short form videos. You don't know anything about TikTok, and you're putting it out there, and you're going to get this reaction. And people will say, oh my God, that'd be so cool if you had that. That would be amazing. You should totally do that. Or you'll get crickets. Everyone will be like, who cares? That's stupid. That's dumb, whatever. But you're putting it out there in this, what if we did this poll, right? And then all of a sudden, ooh, I'm going to figure out how to make that TikTok style video series. Or what if we did this poll was, what if we turned our onboarding process into a game, right? And you say, oh, wow. And then the reaction's wild. That would be so cool. Gamification is where it's at. This is the best idea. You should totally do that. But I don't know anything about games. I stink at video games. I don't even have an Xbox or PlayStation. But you know what? You're going to figure it out because that gamification is what people want. They got excited about it. You put it out there in this, what if we did this poll? Or even, what if you ask this question? What if we gave you an AI coach that answered your questions instantly? And then the poll was like 90% of people like, this is the best idea. I love this idea, blah, 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 blah. But guess what? You don't know anything really about AI. You're super embarrassed about how little you know about how to get AI integrated into your product, your business, your thing. But now you're going to figure it out, right? So I love this idea of what if we did this poll? Now, other random tactics, we just did this a few months back and it changed our marketing dramatically, which was, and this is so ridiculous, it is the $50 ad spend death match. What? Here's what we did. Okay. Here's what you do, and I'll tell you what we did. You launched two completely different ad creatives with just $50 each. Okay. This is ridiculous. So two different ad creatives with just $50 each for each ad creative. And you could do this on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Google Ads. Okay. And then the winning ad, you put more budget to. And then the losing ad, you let it die. And then you repeat the same thing every 48 hours, right? And so we did this. We did this for 14 days where we did this $50 ad spend death match, right? Where we had all these different creatives. One had to beat the other and beat the other and beat the other. And then at the end of 14 days, we had only spent $700 and we had an ad creative that we are now using that is crushing it. It has radically lowered our cost per acquisition. And you know what? We don't have to be an expert on Facebook ads or on Google ads or on any ads. We just went in there and said, you know what? We're going to blow a little bit of money. We're going to do it in this creative way. And I'm not spending 10,000 hours trying to figure out how to do this. You can do little things like that. Or how about a launch before you're ready campaign? This is secret sauce stuff. Okay. Go out there on any platform. Maybe it's in your email newsletter and publicly announce a new product, offer, or idea before it's even finished, before you have any clue what you are doing. Why? Because depending on the reaction you get, that'll tell you, yes, you should go forward. You should do that. That is how this podcast started. Okay. I didn't know anything about podcasting. Literally zero. 2 years ago, I never even listened to a podcast before, but I went on LinkedIn and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should have a podcast. And I put up a poll and I said, hey, I'm thinking about a podcast because you know what? The world needs another podcast. And I said, if this poll gets over 50% of people saying that I should make a podcast, I'm going to do it. And I knew nothing about podcasting. Okay. And I did it. We ended up getting 95% of people said, yeah, you should have a podcast. I made a podcast. My first few episodes were terrible, but I figured it out. And here we are. Okay, so this idea that you need 10,000 hours is total and complete garbage. All right, before we get to since you didn't ask, I want to let you know that's the ridiculous portion of this podcast, as if this whole thing's not ridiculous. But this podcast is presented by Marigold. I love Marigold. I send my email out through Marigold, okay? Meetmarigold.com. If you want access to the best email sending platform, it is a roll-up of Sail Through, Campaign Monitor, My Emma, Cheetah Digital, Live Clicker. I am telling you, big, small, consumer, B2B, if you want loyalty programs, you do not like your platform. I know you don't like your platform. You think it stinks. You think their tracking reports stink. You think you can't get in the inbox. You just think it stinks. Well, guess what? Marigold does not stink. You need to check them out at meetmarigold.com. I strongly endorse them. Check them out. All right. Let's get into since you didn't ask. I want to break down what's going on with TV right now, what I'm watching, what you should not be watching, and what's going on out there. First off, I cannot believe that the #2 show in the world and in the United States on Netflix right now is XO Kitty season 2. Now, for those of you who don't know, okay, there was a movie which was called To All the Boys I've Loved Before. This was an excellent movie. And then they made a TV show called XO Kitty. Season 1 was horrible. Season 2 is even worse. I cannot tell you to avoid the show more strongly. I don't understand why it's so popular. It's unwatchable. Speaking about other things that are unwatchable, I just tried to watch You're Cordially Invited, which is on Prime. That is the new romantic comedy with Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell. I love Reese Witherspoon. I really love Will Ferrell. That dude's like the funniest guy on the planet. I'm like, this is going to be great. This thing stinks. I don't understand. They're too good of actors and comedians and whatever to not have made something great. I am sorry. It's a must miss if you ask me. Severance, I'm all caught up on Severance. I love the show Severance on Apple, but they need to speed it up. Okay, this is the show with Adam Scott and Ben Stiller's like the director, producer, whatever. And I watched all of season 1, which was incredible. But this season is moving so slowly, I cannot take it. I am losing my mind. They need to move it along with what's going on. I know you don't care. I know you're like, what is he talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. I also just watched The Substance with Demi Moore. She's amazing. I mean, this movie went off the rails. I recommend watching The Substance, but it is bizarro, kind of gross, and it gets really, really, really weird. But Demi Moore, whatever, she should win the Academy Award. I have no idea who she's up against. She was incredible. This movie is 2 thumbs up for me, but very weird. Then The Real Housewives of New York. I just finished the first reunion. Wow, that season was terrible, but the reunion was bonkers. So you got to check out Real Housewives of New York, the reunion, and then the thing that's coming up, Love Is Blind season 8 starts February 14th. I'm going to be locked in on that. So lots of important things going on. I appreciate you being here. Listen, check out jayschwedelson.com. You can go there. We could partner together. We could work together. You can come on the podcast. I'll go on your podcast. We'll talk about TV. I don't know what's happening. Just go check out jayschwedelson.com. And thanks for being here. Later.